we are collectively telling cafes, pubs, bars and restaurants to close tonight as soon as they reasonably can. We're also telling nightclubs, theatres, cinemas, gyms and leisure centres to close on the same timescale. From this evening, I must give the British people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home.
Did you really think we were going to get COVID getting away of the season finale? It's July 8th, it's 8 PM. It's not the finale we wanted, but welcome to The Journal. Last awards season was quite an eye-opener. Netflix failed to hit the mark with a 3.5-hour-long Scorsese film of all things, a Korean movie won Best Picture, and the world was down in Corona beers by the bottle. A lot can change in the space of a few months, can't it? But in these simpler times, July 17th of 2019 to be precise, the world got their first glimpse at a movie that would undoubtedly become the so-called underdog of the awards season. As I was sat in UCLan's gym awaiting the start of my graduation ceremony, a trailer dropped on Twitter, and it was for Jennifer Lopez's new film. Nobody thought anything of it, until it defied everyone's expectations. So of course, with no conventional birthday marathon out on location this year, we had an episode 3 to cover this movie. So strap yourselves in, folks, we're really doing this. Now, just a word of warning here, this is a 15 certificate film for very obvious reasons, so viewer discretion is advised. Future me in the editing suite, you're going to have absolute field day making this film's footage safe enough for YouTube. It was relatively easy, actually.
Because we really are talking about a movie where strippers play a central part in the plot. This is what 8 weeks of lockdown does. Or dare I say, 8 weeks of going on the hustle. Hustlers is a black comedy laced with elements of crime drama, written and directed by Lorene Scafari and based on the New York Magazine article that stunned the world back in 2015. This film can arguably be described as a modern-day Robin Hood.
It's about a group of strippers who stole from usually rich, mostly disgusting men
and gave to, well, themselves.
It's a simple plot. Told through the eyes of said magazine interviews, we follow a stripper called Destiny and her mentor Ramona Vega as they attempt to make a living.
Then boom! Wall Street crashes!
They lose their jobs, they have kids, and they need that sweet dollar. So they get back in the game and drug stock traders, CEOs and basically anyone who has money, only to drain those credit cards.
A highly illegal move, but they got away with it. Until their friendship fell apart and others tried to replicate the formula that they'd made work so well. This ain't Hollywood, it never ends well for the heroes. It's quite apt that this film has been described as the modern day Robin Hood. Regular viewers to this series will remember that back in September of last year we ripped apart the Taron Egerton Jamie Foxx take on the tale that everyone knows. You know, the film that told you to forget history.
Who the hell wore leather jackets in the 1600s? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
But today there won't be an Uwe Boll kind of takedown.
Basically my message is, fuck yourself.
Instead, we're actually going to celebrate what a film does well, and we've never done that here on The Journal. In terms of the source material, only a few minor tweaks were done for the sake of artistic license. The lead character's name was changed from Dorothy to Destiny, the lawyers insisted that the usual protect the innocent things were put into place, And the producers, a great team at Gloria Sanchez Productions no less, you know, the people who got Booksmart made, then gave the all clear to go ahead and make the damn thing. The shoot lasted just 29 days during March and May of last year, culminating a near 3-year journey to get this shoot going, because this film had been literally all over the place.
The film was originally attached with Annapurna Entertainment, then it got bounced to STX in 2018 because apparently it was too expensive and risky for an independent Hollywood production of this nature.
Audiences love new stuff. That has been proven. But with a budget of $20.7 million, which isn't expensive in movie terms, it would be relatively easy for this movie to take in at least a small profit, regardless of whether critics will run over or not. So what did this film get right? It had proven star power from the start, both with the soundtrack, which I'm not down with the youth enough to comment on, as well as the on-screen talent. Cardi B, Lizzo and Usher, who all apparently filmed their sequences on the same day, brought in a very youthful audience to screenings, and of course, Jennifer Lopez created that latching point for casual cinema goers who had absolutely had no idea what the movie was about based on that little description a ticket machine gives you. And in Lopez's case, this was her highest profile film role to date. She'd done a couple of, well, awful films, and a few animated movies too, but this one felt like the movie she really wanted to be involved with. And you could argue that this is one of the reasons that she was booked for the Super Bowl back in February.
But this film is really built around Constance Wu's performance as Destiny. Over the course of a tightly paced 1 hour 50 minutes, we follow her as she goes on a proper character journey that follows the tried and tested hero's journey to the letter. And yes, I did say tried and tested. That Campbell and Vogler concept is evident in every Hollywood movie since the late 1970s. This is a proper evolution from her ordinary life as an inexperienced stripper, with a call to adventure, the refusal of said call, and a clear road back to where she was before it all got real. That's 3 of the 12 stages of this hero's journey right there. There's a lot of tests, allies and enemies, an ordeal, a resurrection, and a big reward too. Amazing how all these films share the same plot points. And as this film was in production around the time of the first major Me Too stories rocking the entire industry to its core, careful consideration was given as to how the characters were portrayed. It wasn't enough to stop a lawsuit though, as the woman who provided the inspiration for Jennifer Lopez's character sued the producers for $40 million. The case is still ongoing, but with the same lawyers who got The Wolf of Wall Street made firmly on the side of the producers, yeah, it's probably going to get thrown out.
On top of that, it isn't just about, well, the stripping. What this film does so well is create this emotional attachment to the girls that you are actually rooting for them for the entire duration of the film. In a similar way to 2012's Magic Mike, don't judge us, that's actually a pretty good film. You develop an emotional bond, so when it inevitably falls for these girls, you are deeply attached with them to a point where you want them to succeed. Plus, with the film being set within the 2008 Wall Street crash that Adam McKay's The Big Short depicts so well.
I mean, seriously, I feel like I'm financially inside of you or something.
Okay.
I'm jacked.
I'm jacked to the tits!
Good.
There is a clear narrative focus beyond what happens in those clubs, so there is definitely a lot more appeal to this than there is compared to something like the Downton Abbey movie, which opened on the same day here in the UK. Not let that slip. Following the release of the film, the box office money came in flying quicker than you can get Virgin Media broadband fixed after an outage. And this was something that really made the people at STX Entertainment very happy.
Opening to a nice 87% on Rotten Tomatoes, the film would go on to gross over $157 million globally, meaning it turned in a profit pretty damn quickly. But where this story gets really interesting is with a group of people on social media who we lovingly refer to as Film Twitter.
They had taken Hustlers to their hearts and began a campaign to get the film nominated for BAFTAs, Oscars, Golden Globes and basically any award they could think of. They succeeded in their campaign to get at least the Golden Globes to notice, but every other person on Film Twitter were a little bit more focused on a Korean film that would go on to shape the entire landscape of this industry.
I'm ready to drink tonight.
Look, I've said it once and I'll say it again. In Hollywood, when it comes to awards time, audiences and voters like to watch actors suffer for their art. Yokin had to go proper deep, a proper method to get that win for Joker. Leo had to, well, do things with a bear. They like people suffering for their art. How many times do I have to say it? Look, this is only half the story, because it's quite obvious that I am totally not the target audience for this movie. I simply don't get that whole nightlife kind of lifestyle, because to quote that Jonah Louis track from the 80s, you will only find me in the kitchen at parties, or any form of nightlife in general. But we do have someone on our production team who is a lot more qualified than I am to talk about this movie, and it's one of the newest additions to the great men and women. And also, humble brag, she got to see this movie open both here in the UK and over in France as well, where it was called Queens. So, what did our resident queen of Geordie banter and newest addition to the great men and women, Sophie Knox, think of Hustlers? Hopefully this link up to Newcastle upon Tyne works.
Hi, I'm Sophie Knox and I'm going to talk about Hustlers. So I knew I'd love this film as soon as I heard the first beat of Cardi B's song Money in the trailer. So the trailer and the whole image is so aesthetic and appealing to me a lot personally. I'm a hustler myself, I've got 2 jobs, my whole style, so the film really spoke to me. First, let's talk about the title. So Hustlers is a magazine that's first mentioned in the top scene. The word itself invokes working hard and stopping at nothing to ensure success and making money. It's especially relevant in today's modern climate, where everyone is trying to be successful and trying to have multiple income streams. Also, I listen to a lot of rap music where the themes are very similar: working hard to overcome circumstances, making a whole lot of money and looks and success. So even though it takes place over a decade ago, the themes are still very relevant today. So in the Canadian French version, the title is Echnek en talent, which means fraudsters and acrylics. Yes, as a translator, I feel it really conveys the meaning accurately and carries a lot of different aspects. So yeah, these women are committing crimes that are usually done by Wall Street men, but these women bring about something that the men can't. They look good doing it. We'll talk about the power equilibrium later. So yeah, I find the title really effective. Unfortunately, the French-European title is Queens, which I think is less effective. The first thing you'll notice about the film is the timestamps that run throughout its entirety. It tells a true story, and while I was watching it, I thought about what I was doing at the time, mostly in school as a mini hustler. This is kind of effective because it links you to the story and makes you a part of it. So the music, fashion and media also help to guide the audience through the times. So it was set in 2008 and all the way to 2013 when it ends, okay? So in the beginning, season 1 of Keeping Up with the Kardashians is shown in the background. We're now on season 18, so it just shows it's kind of come on a bit. Kim Kardashian is obviously very fashion conscious. Back in the days of this film setting, she could often be seen shopping with a huge bag on one arm and socialite Paris Hilton on the other, which is reflected in the scenes where Destiny and Ramona go shopping with huge bags. In an interview with the designer Mitchell Travis, he stated these influential women in his research for the period costumes, in which included the Juicy Couture velvet tracksuits. So the music is also helpful in placing the film. Songs that came out during my time in early high school all featured, for example, Miles by Lord. And now returning back to fashion, the interviewee also revealed the iconic nature of the fur coat worn by Jennifer Lopez, not only a fashion trend at the time, according to Travers, it signals motherly protection in the opening scene where club legend Ramona offers to teach new girl Destiny the tricks of the trade. It also makes an appearance later on when Ramona actually gives Destiny a whole new coat for Christmas, showing the transfer of the power and the status in their new business in which they are joint partners. Now let's move on to the theme of power. So from the very beginning, it seems the men are the ones with the power, and the money is something they've earned, and the women are powerless and can only use their bodies, something which they were born to succeed. However, as they drug the men, the women clearly have the power, as they're the lucid ones. There are various other themes running through this film, for example, jealousy, yet friendship, greed, yet merit, freedom, yet judgment. Ramona and Destiny seem like the best of friends and stick together even when times get tough, but you can tell that there's a little bit of jealousy when the younger new girl gets chatted up and Ramona is ignored in the shadows. Greed is also rife in this film. It is seen in the way the men of Wall Street, or the wolves of Wall Street, are described in their daily work who get their hands dirty. There's a quote from Destiny that goes, "What would you do for $1,000? The answer depends on what you already have and what you want next." This is so true because money has no upper limit, so it is easy to be sucked in and controlled by greed. This, however, can be counterbalanced with appreciating what you have, since you can never have everything. Let's move on to the theme of judgment. In modern day society, where women have never been more free, the paradox is that there have never been more body shaming and slut shaming. Certain characters portray this in the film. For example, when Destiny has an interview for a high-end boutique, the interviewer looks disapprovingly when she reads out her work history in Sin City. There are also women who don't even try to hide their stares at Destiny when she takes her daughter to school dressed in chains and ripped jeans. This shows that society judges women when they try to balance motherhood with work and looking good for themselves. My favourite quote of the film is Ramona's final: "This whole country is a strip club. You got some of them throwing the money and some of them doing the dance."
You know what? I knew Noxie would enjoy this film based on her reaction to the trailer. It's almost like the great men and women at cinema know a great movie based on a 2-minute block of footage. Oh, we're back! Didn't expect to go on for that long. That's just about it for this episode of The Journal, and unfortunately, that's almost it for Series 2. It's been a really interesting ride doing these last 10 episodes. Having to take a break after doing the wipe, not the way we wanted it to go, and obviously COVID happening screwed us over a little bit more, but I can confirm Season 3 is going to be incredible. We've got big studies on cinemas, we have bigger, more in-depth deep dives, and as today has proven, we have a lot more collaborators coming along as well. But that doesn't mean it's game over here on YouTube for cinema. Hell no. Talking Smit about film will continue every week as it has done, because I enjoy doing it live so much so I bought a proper microphone stand for it. Yeah, good money this. And on top of that, we've got a couple of new series in the works as well. They're not journals, but they are pretty similar in terms of the content and less work in terms of editing them. Plus, you're not getting rid of journal that easily. We've got a couple of specials in the works. And these specials are very similar to what you've seen at Christmas. We've got arguably the biggest project ever undertaken at TheJackSmit Ventures, looking back on the last decade of events within film, media, popular culture. If I can review it, it's going in decade wipe, and you'll be seeing that relatively soon. So, that is literally it. We'll see you later in the year for a brand new series of The Journal. But for now, I've been Jack from TheJackSmit.com, joined remotely from Newcastle by the one and only Sophie Knox. And until we're back later in the year, we'll see you at the movies. Stay safe, beat this damn virus, and let's get back in the cinemas.
I'm no good at chatting up, and I always get ripped-offed. Enough to drive me to the brink. I don't do no washing up. I always leave the stuff piled up in the sink.
To quote that Jonah Louis track from the 80s, you will only find me in the kitchen at parties.
Now
know what? I'm about to make an absolute prat of myself now because I've had my notes open all this time, and I always bloody do this. There's a running joke between me and my mates when I watch this. I always get two main characters mixed up, and I've been doing it the whole episode. And I'm such a prat for doing it. And I always get
fine. We're live.
And we're live as well, and there are people watching.
Welcome to the Rip Ticket Review, a movie podcast that prides itself on getting the names of major characters right in movies.
Hello there. Wow, that was savage, Jack. That was savage.
I know.
Surprised. Fair play.
And we are offline. So this podcast will go out exclusively as audio. YouTube viewers, hold up. We'll be back in a minute.
Did someone get a little shy?
That's Ed and Aaron. The gang is back together in digital form. Oh, lovely. This bit's probably going to get cut for the audio version, but lads, we need to find a way to get together on video pretty soon because it's been way too long.
Most of the viewers asked for their money back even before 30 minutes had passed. And
before 30 minutes, that's when it starts getting good.
You've all heard Mark Strong do his thing at... You've all heard Mark Strong do his things... I'm not feeling it today. 3, 2... You've all heard Mark Strong doing his thing before films at View, or that guy called Chris laying down the gauntlet at Odeon.
Bloodsport, that was it.
Oh, yeah.
Bloodsport. That is the most Van Damme of all Van Damme movies. Ask me how good that movie is. Go on, Jack.
How good is Bloodsport?
It's Van Damme good.
That's the Joker music for the title.
It's Van Damme good.
All right, where's my copy of Gatsby at?
Oh, we are temporarily down because of that trailer. Hey, thank God we are recording this locally. A lot of expectations yet. I knew this would be a disaster. After being coerced into working for a crime boss, a young getaway driver finds himself taking part in a heist that is doomed to fail. We would play a clip, but knowing that has just happened. What an absolute disaster. I'm just going to quickly let the live chat know what's going on. Oh, Sony. Oh, wow. That was class. As we were.
They don't actually control that bit. Another company does. Oh, for God's sake.
This is absolutely... This is when...
Right, ready? 3. Oh, I've not even put my mic in, have I?
And this is my favourite scene I'm going to play.
Everything goes wrong at once. Nobody wants to help me, and I'm dying.
You're not dying, Mom.
I got the results of the test back. I definitely have breast cancer.
It's about as bad as the scene later on in the film. How's your sex?
I love this movie so much.
One take! Stanley, shut up. And get this, they even make... And get this, right? They even tried to make a romance arc between the main character, Max, and this female doll called Daisy. Let my suffering end. I mean, it's clunky. It's full of exposition. Where is it? Do I actually have it up here? Where's a comparable film? You could say it's a doggy fight club. Crap! We don't talk about doggy fight club. It's the first damn rule. So on this episode of the Journal, we're taking a ride in the Earl Grey field time machine and having a look about... So on this episode of the Journal, we're taking a ride in the Earl Grey powered time machine and having a look at how the format wars of the 1980s dictated the industry that we love so much today, and how it kick-started a period of time that I'm about to study quite in depth for my masters. A highly illegal move until they got away with it. And others... mess that one up. So we just recorded the first bits of the new journal. Camera rolling. Sound check, 1 2 1 2. Yep, levels are good. Let's get this thing finished. I think we've got it. Should we do some wipe?
This debutante, I said I like the way rock. She was into French cuisine, but I ain't no cordon bleu. This was at some do in Bethnal Green. I had no luck with her.
Look, you got through the credits expecting a little bit more. Look, you've had a blooper reel. What more would you want? Bloopers? Funny credits? Oh, you want crapverts, don't you? I'm saving that for the wipe. Alright then.
Cinema chains and a company I have quite a bit of experience with launched a brand film in an attempt to get people to look up from their phones. Featuring a unique talent of a legend who's not afraid to speak his mind, director Jake Scott.
And his dad, Ridley?
So, stories. The story is that they are everywhere.
Oh! Film's coming on.
And you could broadcast them to the entire world from the palm of your hand. I mean, yeah, you saw a sunset, you saw a dog, you saw a flower.
Really?
And yes, you bought breakfast.
Did I?
You bought a coffee.
No, I didn't.
You bought a sandwich.
Hell no.
I'll have what he's having. And okay, now you can tell your stories in 10 seconds.
No, you can't.
6 seconds.
No, you can't.
3 seconds.
No, you can't.
Disappearing stories.
Definitely not.
Huh, cute dog.
Oh, Ridley.
But come on, to lose yourself in the story, you have to do it properly.
TheJackSmit.
Action.
Hang on.
Surprised he's not screaming Ray.
Not like that.
What?
Or that. Or that. Definitely not like that. Great stories are the ones you can lose yourself in. You can't do it like that.
Hi, Dad.
No, to really lose yourself in a story, it means no pings.
Come on, where's the social distancing? And the masks?
Like me.
Looks like something out of Black Mirror. Now, I'm not going to lie, it is a fantastic advert, and I've kind of got used to it playing before every single film instead of the greatest bass drop in the world. But knowing the disputes that View have had over the last 12 months and going back into 2019, getting lost in great stories might be a little easier said than done. And get this, they even had a scientific study to try and promote the fact that the big screen is the best place. They did it with UCL. As someone who's kind of got used to the academic lifestyle over the last couple of years, I have issue with it. Number one, it was a small sample size. Number two, it wasn't peer reviewed. And number three, View put money into that study themselves. Proof, if proof be needed. They like to skimp on the very small details. I mean, you just got to look at that little bit of wall they forgot to polish up after the refurb 3 years ago.
And now I've done my time in the kitchen at parties. I've done my time in the kitchen at parties.
Kitchens in London, all the mixers in Newcastle, blenders in Birmingham, especially to the mugs in Manchester, and the cutlery in Cardiff, the ladles in Liverpool, and the toasters in Tunbridge.